Welcome back. There's actually some really damn good, surprising news for Halo Infinite, and overall, the game's numbers are actually going up, and they're not just spiking, they're actually staying there. So, why is it that this is the top of the Halo Reddit right now? We criticize 343 when they do something wrong, let's celebrate when they do something right. Well, the thing that they've done right is actually a surprise update that has a few really good things, including quite the change to the game's business model, which is something that is very, very important, where they're adding in, well, basically some of the core Halo experience. All of this can then build on the pretty successful winter update to hopefully actually set this game up for a good future. Yeah, so a surprisingly good update for the very end of this year has dropped in addition to the winter update. The original plan was basically to do the winter update, which would have Forge beta, campaign, network co-op, and mission replay, a free 30-tier battle pass, 2 new maps, match XP beta, and just a bunch of other things. And then Season 3 to really be when the game properly kicks into gear, being a 3-month-long season starting next March. The good news is, we've actually got more. And when we actually take a look at the numbers here for the winter update, you can see that actually stuff's pretty great. So, of course, November 9th, you see that spike up to about just shy of 13,000 people, right? Over here in Steam. Remember, that's just Steam. A lot of people with Game Pass will just be using the Xbox app on PC, and a bunch of people play this game on console as well. So, overall, it does actually have quite a chunky audience. It's just a whole bunch of it is not really in a place that we can measure. But what we can measure is Steam, and what Steam tells us is a nice little spike that then led to, oh, what's this? Pretty sustained good levels that are maybe about 50% larger than where they were before the winter update. So already we can see the winter update is actually having a good impact, and it's having a decently lasting impact as well. That's really important. This is never a game that was going to completely 180 itself within a single update. This is always a situation of it just being the developer having to show up and do the work for months on end. So, what is it this month? Well, it's the December 6th update. It's basically framed as a bunch of holiday gifts and just cool shit to give to the players. And coming with it, we've got version 1 of the custom game browser. This has been brought forward by around 3 months, and they do admit that it's rough, but it's going to allow for Forge maps and modes to just be more spread around with the community, right? So you can take a look at the UI there. I mean, obviously still work in progress, but hey, custom game browser. That's something that we always want to see in our games, so that's brilliant. Another thing they've done then is a new map. It's called Empyrean, and well, it's not exactly a new map. It's basically them porting the Pit over. Now, the Pit is, I would say, one of my favorite maps from Halo 3. I really enjoy the layout. Of course, it's looking a bit different, being made with the standard assets from Forge mode, but I think the point here is just like, bam, map making tools. Here they are. We can have more maps now, which is absolutely a good thing as well. There's also some quality of life updates, right? So mouse and keyboard usage has been improved with just some features people wanted, like walk buttons, red reticules on PC, improvements to aiming and mouse scrolling. Basically, there were some input issues the game had, so those are being fixed up. Some networking fixes as well, and in-game play reporting and muting. Then what's potentially the larger thing going forward here, an answer to the cosmetic problem this game had. So the way that it always used to be, right, in Halo is you'd just unlock gear and that's it. You'd put it on your character and you could customize it. You had plenty of color options, you know, primary, secondary, tertiary colors, all of that. It was a pretty damn great system. It was not something that was monetized. Obviously with a shift to free-to-play, they had to go and pull the free-to-play bullshit with the armor core system, which ended up actually just, man, it was such a drag. And the good news here is that the, well, all 5 armor cores in the game, which is kind of like the basic armor your guy's wearing, that's all free now. Yeah, it's not at all, it's not a part of the store, it's free. Then also, all 10 cadet coatings, which basically just means base colorations, those are now available for each one of the cores from the outset, which basically means that you do have something a lot more close to just your classic Halo color configuration, right? That, you know, we would have been used to. Now, what's also good is that those colors will be included with all future cores. So TLDR, more player-friendly, less greedy, really, really good. Now, maybe it will convert into money a bit less, but I think they've quite obviously realized that the thing that really matters the most right now is the brand integrity of Halo. That's really what they have to get in a better place. So this is actually quite brilliant. And all of this is just a surprise update that we didn't exactly expect. So that they've just been able to be a bit more agile and get these things to us, that's really good. And the thing with the winter update is that was already seen as a really good step. So now we've seen 2 very positive steps in a row, right? You can kind of see, we always like to just see little snippets of the community. So here are, let's just say, lots of very happy upvoted comments from the Reddit. There we go. We've got a nice little Gordon Ramsay. Just overall good shit. Now, the thing that's going to be the true superpower, I think, is Forge Mode. Because if you're just remembering Forge Mode from Halo 3, like, oh no, this Forge Mode is basically game creation tools. It is really, really incredible. And I think that's somewhere where we're just going to see a lot more utility from that custom game browser. As an example, and Kotaku did a good job just collating some of the stuff the community's got, we've got Blood Gulch. All right, so that's good. We've got Blood Gulch Reimagined. Also good. And you know, we just keep on going. We've got Warlock, which is a remake of Wizard, Hang 'em High Tombstone, and just, man, so many maps. I mean, hell, continuing the Halo 2 hype, like, here's Midship. You can just go play Midship, right? So the idea that players have just been able to so quickly make, like, a whole bunch of, I mean, hey, Valhalla. I remember spending a hell of a lot of time in Valhalla. Ghost Town. I mean, man, it is just cool, right? So here's just a bunch of really cool maps. There's the sword-based map as well. Just good shit that the community has been making. But there's actually more there, right? So that stuff inspired by the classic games. Well, here we have a little bit more, right? So, like, you know, brand new, creative, super high-quality work. Again, you would wonder what happens if these maps catch on. Can there be a way that somebody could progress through their battle pass by playing through content in a map like this? Like, how far could we push this? That's really what I'm thinking. Final Destination from Smash Bros. As a 1v1 map. Like, that's kind of crazy. I mean, just take a look at this. We're playing Smash Bros. In Halo, just of course you're using the grapple hook. So that's kind of, you know, funny and ridiculous. We've got red light, green light, because you can, like, script shit. Speaking of that, here is, I'm sure you remember this from Fall Guys. Here it is in Halo. And if I think back to my childhood playing, like, I mean, Halo 2, but I'd say mostly Halo 3 with, you know, like, its Forge Mode and all of the different custom maps that we were able to make and share and play, and that was with tools that were so rudimentary compared to what's actually here with Infinite. It just does give me a hell of a lot of hope. Now, I don't think that, because, like, let's be real, for a lot of people, they're going to need the full progression system and all the official things, right? That's kind of what they'll need. But for keeping that core base of just, like, real core Halo fans who kind of really do enjoy features like this, I think this is just fantastic for the health of the game, because ultimately, give people the tools. If they have a hunger for content, they will make some content and they will start to play that. And that will just make the game all the stronger. So this overall is just a bunch of absolutely brilliant stuff. Now, obviously, the match XP thing, that will need to be in. Progression will need to feel better. They need to overcome the issues of the store. There absolutely is a lot of work to do, but I'm really feeling quite happy and quite positive about this. Again, considering all the things that I've talked about here, and this isn't covering the core of the winter update, which I've only really just glossed over, like, I know that these numbers are not CSGO numbers, but it's Halo and it's moving in the right direction. For a lot of us, that's like the best that we can hope for. Yeah, they've made a lot of mistakes with this game. Like, I think it was Matt Booty, the head of Xbox Studios, who just admitted, like, yeah, we tripped at the finish line. I mean, I don't know how they managed to have such unbelievably terrible planning that they got themselves into this mess. But evidently, they're trying to get their way out of this mess. And the actual developers, the people who are able to work on the game, are making good moves. And let's just hope that these have been made in such a way that they can then get that 4-season-a-year cadence pretty much ASAP. I mean, what they conclude their update post with is basically saying 2023 equals more content, more features, more options, more weapons, more cosmetics, more updates on a regular cadence. So it's pretty damn clear. Now, one other interesting thing did kind of pop up with this story, right? Cadet Blue looks pretty similar to another color that was in the game before, right? So what they've done is they've taken the old one and they've basically just made it look a bit more fancy here. I do wonder, right, if this is some sort of acknowledgement that their older method of just kind of providing a new style with, with an older color palette, if that's the sort of thing that just won't be acceptable going forward, right? Then maybe the things that will be skins will be more fancy, will be more, I suppose, for lack of a better word, high effort, which certainly has been an issue with this store. Overall, then, we're in a good position, but there have been problems. I mean, quite a lot of messiness in terms of leadership changes in the last few months. Bonnie Ross is leaving. Her role has actually been split into 3, but while that is a bit tumultuous, we've had 2 really good updates on this game. And given I think the pace of the content here, where we've had winter update, another good update, maybe we'll see something in January, but then, 3-month seasons instead of 6-month seasons, that is seeming so much more healthy to me. And if they've been able to ship a few things a little bit early here, maybe, ship more than they promised, more than they committed to, maybe that shows us that they have a pretty solid little schedule going on. It's hard to tell, but we're closer to what a Halo game should have in this format. We're perhaps not quite there yet, but this is a really good, positive story. It does show that, this is obviously a team that's been, it must in some way be either completely mismanaged or undermanned for the scope of what it really had to achieve with the seasonal model that they planned for this game. Because, seriously, the stat, it just makes no sense when you think about what they set out to do with what they had. It is so bloody bizarre. 343 Microsoft, what were you doing? But hey, we're in a better position now. And as much as a lot of this can end up being like the movie Nightcrawler, where we're all just kind of looking for the next car accident to look at, to be like, oh wow, look at the chaos over there, let's all be interested in the chaos. Ultimately, we do want good games. I think that Halo Infinite at its core is a bloody brilliant game, so if those bugs can be ironed out, if content can actually be there, that is just absolutely fantastic for everybody, because I know this much, there's no shooter that hits quite the way that Halo does. At least for me and some other people, maybe my generation. And maybe there's not that many of us compared to how many games are out there. And maybe that's why Halo ends up being a little bit niche. But fuck it, I'm really happy with this one. So when we find the win, I think we should take it. So there you go. It's a win. And hey, this is free to play. So all that really, the worst that would have happened is we've lost some time. And I think we can live with that. All right, 343, good luck. Keep it up. Let's see. You pretty much had a 50% increase in your players with Season 2. If we can have another, with the most recent winter update, if we can have another little bump with this, and they're able to continually sustain higher averages, after, perhaps in 6 months we'll be sitting here looking at a graph that tells a very different story to what that Steam graph told, right? Perhaps it will be a graph of redemption. That is what I would love to see. Let me know how this one applies to you. And with that said, I'll see you next time.